Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Bethpage, Long Island, New York, for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business and also how to win at tax season. This is January 2022. Yesterday, the 25th, the IRS started accepting electronically filed returns. We've done a few. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And the objective right now is to not have a replay of the 2021 tax filing system season. My aunt just got her tax return about 3 weeks ago for 2020. What a debacle. I've told you the story before. She's worked at the IRS for over 20 years. She couldn't get through to them. She had to get her congressman involved. He couldn't get through to them. Oh my God, it was a pretty good refund. And luckily, they finally sent her a check, even though we asked them to file it, direct deposit into her account. So 2020 is over, and we're all ready for 2021. And I am going to today and in the near future be giving proactive, pragmatic tax tax information on how you, an individual or a business, can navigate the IRS machine. I have a lot of respect for the IRS employees. My aunt was one. I have other family members and friends that have worked at the IRS for the IRS, and they are really public servants. They are good, hardworking people. And my beef is not with them. My beef is really with the system that has been broken since before I was even an accountant. I don't know if it was ever run properly from an administrative standpoint, but COVID really fractured the cracks. I mean, there's gaping holes all the way from their website going down to not processing returns, not being able to get on the phone with them. My cousin Vinny this morning told me we haven't been able to file his 2020 return because of a PIN issue, the personal identification number. Now, if you're not familiar with the PIN, it's supposed to protect people from identity theft. It's not supposed to block them from filing their return. So, the story goes he got a PIN number in 2019. We filed. Everything went fine. We tried to file for 2020 return, and on my end, I'm getting an error message saying that the PIN is wrong. Now, they don't usually issue PINs every year. Usually, I believe they issue the PINs when people move, just to make sure that or there's some kind of fraud in their account, or they actually ask for a PIN to protect their identity. I get that. But now we have an issue where, my client is looking for his refund. Not even that we're looking for his refund. We just want to file his return. We're supposed to file. He had an extension until October 15th. We go to file, and the IRS is rejecting it. And now if you can't file with the IRS, you can't file with the state either. So now we haven't filed with the IRS or with the state. But they have a solution, folks, and this is the solution. They have a PIN department. So you can go online and try to retrieve your PIN. That didn't work. Or you can call them directly, like you can actually speak to a person. So I just got off the phone with him about an hour ago, and he says, I tried. He goes through this whole litany of menus. Push one if you're alive. Push two if you actually want to talk to us. Push three if this is a prank call. Anyway, he goes through the thing. I don't know how long it was, but I know that I've gone through this. It's taken up to a half an hour, and only to find out that uh, they're too busy to call back later. Now, that's not what happened to him. They didn't say, "Oh, due to increased call volume, we're not able to take your call right now. Please call back another time." That's what usually happens. No, what they told him was the PIN department is closed. That's it. It's closed. They didn't say call back tomorrow. So, what options do we have? So, the only option left, because he wants to file, is to file it uh, through snail mail. Actually print a return. Now I have to put a declaration on there about, because as a preparer, I'm supposed to electronically file everything. Okay. So now I got to tell them we're not filing the return electronically because your system is terrible. So, that's just one story out of millions. We could spend a lot of time just talking about some of the bizarre, bizarre stories. And when I say bizarre, I'm not talking about individual uh, representative issues, because you always know if you have a big organization, you're going to get some bad apples, you're going to get incompetence, you're going to get people that make mistakes. No, from a computer standpoint, from a programming standpoint, there's just some really bizarre things happening. For instance, collection letters, there's supposed to be a cycle of collection letters that go out. First, they send you a bill. Then about 30 days later, you get another bill, and it goes until they say, oh, if you don't respond, we're going to take the money right out of your account. So what happened, now this was about 6 months ago, a bunch of my clients started getting notice of intents to levy, which is the end of the cycle, where they say, hey, you didn't respond, we're going to take the money out. Well, they never got all the other letters. They didn't get the other. So I found out it didn't just happen to my clients. And you don't hear about this kind of stuff. It doesn't make the news all the time. But what happened, there must have been some kind of glitch in their system, and they just skipped over a couple of letters. No big deal. Now what we got to do is go get a power of attorney for me. I got to get on the phone with them. I figured out, the timing and how to do it. And I actually get a special number for CPAs because I'm a professional tax preparer. So I get the CPA hotline, get on the phone with them, and get it resolved one at a time. You can't send a letter at that point. And even if you do send a letter, there's no guarantee that they're going to open it. So let's go through some of the issues that people are already uh, encountering and see if we can head off these kinds of problems. So I'm going to share with you uh, the IRS website so that you could see exactly what I see. Let me get this out of the way. And there we go. So now this is you go to irs.gov. So there's no mystery behind this. I'm not sharing anything that isn't public knowledge. I don't have any insider secrets right now. I'm just trying to give you the lowdown on, what the situation is. And now, again, I believe that the IRS is doing everything within their power to rectify this situation. The problem is that there's only so much that they can do. They've always been underfunded, always behind the eight ball. So if you're with the IRS, my heart goes out to you. Don't take this personally. So the first thing I could show you is to sign into your account. Now, what this is, and I've been advising all of my clients, anybody that will listen, that everybody should have an IRS account and also a state tax accounts. Every state has a portal where you can sign in and see what the heck is going on with your taxes. So knowing how the IRS is now, knowing how the mail is now, what you want to do this, verify it yourself. Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So when you go on here, you can view your balance. If you owe money and you don't know it, you want to know if you do. If you do owe money, you can create a payment plan. But most important here is that you want to access your tax records. And also you want to see if anybody has a power of attorney on your account, because sometimes, I get power of attorneys all the time and they stay in there even if I'm not doing business with my client or if it was a one-shot deal. So you can go in here and see, who actually has access to your account. That's pretty important, because any tax notices that go out also go to whoever has a power of attorney on your account. Now, this is important. I have clients now that are saying, they get just last night, I got a client, she said she got a letter that she got $1,400 in her economic stimulus check. She said she only got $600. Now, you have to reconcile these amounts, because there were actually 3 stimulus payments that went out. And if you're missing one, you can claim them on your 2021 tax return. But you want to have the right information. Now, they could have mailed it to her. It could have got lost in the mail. Anything could have happened. Okay, she might have gotten it and not known. There were crazy things that happened with those checks also. I'll give you another quick story. My mom had closed a bank account. She moved. Her first check she received a check. Okay, she moved. She never got the second one. Turns out that the IRS directly deposited the check into the bank where she closed her checking. Luckily, she still had a savings account open. She didn't realize that she had a savings account open. It was open. The bank saw the mistake and they sent her a debit card with the money. That's just one story in a lot of them. So if you want to be proactive, reconcile your stimulus payments here. Also, another big issue is anybody that had children and got the advanced child tax credit. Okay, now what I'm hearing is that a lot of people are getting, again, wrong notices that, if you're married, filing jointly, I've heard of people getting letters that it didn't add up to what they actually got. The letter said that they got more than what they got. I mean, it's really a nightmare. So instead of filing your return and finding out later that it was wrong, you can go online before you file and verify the information. So now the solution is, if the letters are wrong, you can try to rectify it. Now, if you want to get your refund, unfortunately, what you're going to have to do is enter the amount that the IRS says that you received. And I'll tell, even if it's wrong, and I'll tell you why. The biggest delays happen when your information does not match their information. Okay, so and it's all machine driven. If something's off by $1, it gets kicked out and probably set for a manual review. Well, that's not good. You don't want a manual review. So what you're going to do, my advice, is you file the return with the wrong information, get your refund, and then fix it after you file, because then you can file an amended return and get the correct amount. Because no matter how you fix it, if you call them, if you write them, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So those are just a few of the items that are going to get you get you stuck. Okay. Also, there's a lot of other information on this on the IRS site. I do not recommend that you use the IRS as the research tool. Okay, don't use them as the end all be all. You can use them if you're doing your own return. So here's another good thing. You can actually file your return. If you can't afford an accountant, the IRS will actually help you file your return. Uh, they'll either guide you, they'll send you to a software provider, that is on their system. So they've made deals with some software providers to file your federal return, not your state return. Okay, so you could file your federal return for free with the IRS uh, website. So here is all the options. I don't want to get into all the details because, like I said, there's a lot of information to cover. This is just the one in a series of broadcasts that I'll be doing on, how to get your refund early. We just did a workshop on this, and we went through a whole litany of issues and how to resolve them. Not even how to resolve them, how to avoid them. And that's what we want to do now. We want to avoid any problems that we can. Also, don't file your return too early. If you're going to get a 1099, if you had a side gig, the the forms are supposed to be out by January 31st. But for all intents purposes, they don't all go out on January 31st. And even if they do, they can get lost in the mail, they can be delayed. So if you're going to get that kind of information, if you're going to get a K1 from a business, uh, if you're going to get stock transaction, so the stocks are famous for this. They'll send you a statement, and then a month later, you'll get a corrected statement. So anybody that gets, information returns like that, I would definitely say wait until you get all the information. Why? Because if you file the return without that information, it's going to delay your tax return being processed. Why? Because that information that comes to you also goes to the IRS. So that brings me to another issue, which I never understood. If that third party information is already going to the IRS, why do so many people have to even file a return? We're filing returns like my aunt. Everything that we submitted to the IRS, they already had. So if I was in charge, I would totally, totally overhaul this system, because if we're just verifying what they already have, that's just a big waste of time. I'm going to leave you with that. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. If you have any questions, if you want to book a free chat with me, you can always do that. I love talking to people about their situation. You can go to timewithjoe.com. I will definitely love to give you 15, 20 minutes, however long you need, to pick my brain, ask me some questions. If you have a problem, hopefully I can point you in the right direction and help you solve the problem. So I will be back again shortly for another amazing episode of how to win at business and how to win at your taxes. Thank you.